Hello again, ladies and gentlemen, Sonic Yoda from SEGADriven.com, and welcome to our Sonic Hacking Contest 2018 coverage. In this video we're taking a look at Among the Others by Unlimited Trees. Now, before we start, if you haven't already seen it, please go and head back to our Sonic Amateur Games Expo 2018 coverage, because we also covered the demos of Among the Others at that show as well. And there were a couple of demos which featured the first and second acts of this, and yeah, they're pretty much similar to what we played back at Sage, so if you want more detailed thoughts about those stages, please go and head back. Now, the differences between said demos back at Sage are that an awful lot of our complaints back then have been sort of corrected. So some of the collision detection in the second act has been corrected. I've never had any problems playing that act in this demo. And also, I didn't have any of the sort of strange running into the scenery that I had with the demo back at Sage as well. So both of those things been corrected. This plays a lot more smoother and nicer now. Some slight changes to the terrain and some gimmicks as well have been added in this demo. So there is some new stuff to experience in those two stages as well. But on the whole, they're pretty similar, just without as many sort of collision detection problems that we were having before. So that's nice. It's playing great. It still looks great. It is a very, very striking looking game. Quite a lot of sort of Pepsi references still, but that's very much Unlimited Trees' thing. Very much his sort of calling card almost. He always has Pepsi stuff in his games. But yeah, if you can get over that, you're very much in for a very graphically interesting and striking little thing. Still looks great, still does the business. Yeah, it's a great little demo, I've got to say. I have noticed, and it was the case with the original demo, but I didn't mention it before, is that Sonic's running speed is slower than his speed when he's in a ball. You gain an awful lot more momentum in a ball than you do just by running. So something worth keeping an eye on, because if you do want to get up to some ridiculous speeds, which you can get to on the second act in particular, the best way to do it is to be in a ball. Spin dashing is totally the way forward with the speed in this. But the running does, serve a purpose. Certain ramps and loops and things, you can still get up them at running speed. It does feel like Sonic's sticking to them a little bit, which is a bit strange, but that's my only real complaint there. But it is still a good way of traversing the stage if you just want to get up to speed and get round things. You can still do that at the slower running pace. So you don't have to worry too much about gaining so much momentum all the time. Because, yeah, your running speed will get you up any sort of ramp or slope that you need to. But, yeah, so the new stuff that's featured in this demo, we've got a third act, which sort of takes place in a sort of rocky cave-looking area. And, again, very pretty, lovely to look at. Although I would say the stage design is a little poor here, I've got to say. There's lots and lots of bad nicks. The terrain doesn't particularly flow. Yeah, it's a bit frustrating to play that stage, unfortunately. Which is a shame because, yeah, graphically it just looks really lovely. The artwork all around has been fantastic in Unlimited Trees games, and this is no different. It's a really pretty thing. And then the final stage is a boss stage, modelled after Final Zone from Sonic 1. You've got these sort of elevators, and an enemy is inside one of them. And you've basically got to position yourself best so that you can attack the enemy in the elevators. This is very difficult. They've changed the sort of the spheres that come down and hit you. You've basically got to line yourself up with the gaps and stand under them so that you avoid attacks from the spheres. Otherwise, yeah, because they move a lot quicker than they do in the original Final Zone. So yeah, just a bit of a change to the gimmick there, just to make it a little bit more challenging, and it is very challenging, I've got to say. But, patience, you will find the pattern, essentially, and once you've hit that pattern, you then can beat the boss, essentially. The only difference here is that, apart from the spheres moving quicker and in a set pattern, it takes an awful lot of hits to defeat the boss. So basically, you're going to be fighting this boss for a lot longer than you would in a normal Final Zone battle, which is a little bit frustrating, I guess. But after a while, you do get used to it. Like I say, once you get used to the pattern, you'll defeat the boss. You just have to spend quite a bit of time doing so because there's so many hits to it. But yeah, once it's done, it's quite a forlorn little game, this. So Unlimited Trees basically leaves a little message in the last stage, sort of speaking about how tumultuous the development has been and how it's kind of, you know, depressing him a little bit, bumming him out because he's not receiving the best feedback, and he's finding it hard to try and find other people to help him with the project. So yeah, the last act is basically a message saying that, you know, this is as best as I could do, and I think this is the last thing I'm going to make, which is a real shame because the guy is clearly very talented. This is a very interesting ROM hack that he's put an awful lot of effort into to make it feel unique and interesting and special. But yeah, I guess the guy just feels a bit run down and a little bit burnt out, and this is probably going to be his last development for the time being. Hopefully, you know, Unlimited Trees, man, like, it'd be nice to see you do some more stuff in the future. There are people out here that genuinely care about your developments, and you do make some great stuff, man. I think the real shame is that there's an awful lot of humour and sort of meme culture in his stuff, and maybe that puts people off. And I mean, I've certainly commented on it in the past, and it does feel like a shame that he's taken so much of it to heart. But, you know, like, above all else, this is a very visually very interesting looking game, with some cool stage design, and I think it will be a shame if this is the last thing that Unlimited Tree's done in the Sonic hacking community. So fingers crossed, you know, he'll find a second wind and find a project that he's really passionate about in the future, because yeah, I'd feel this was a shame for a thing to bow out on. But, you know, a very interesting thing, as per usual. Like I say, visually very interesting, very pretty, fun to play. The bugs have been, you know, addressed from the last few demos, so well worth checking out. So that is, yeah, Among the Others by Unlimited Trees, available now at the Sonic Hacking Contest 2018, and it's in competition, so please go and check this one out.